Good morning. I've been so tempted in past weeks to scream, "Good morning, Vietnam." Good morning, friends. It's Wednesday. Nova. We'll be doing some yoga together today. I just want to begin today kind of giving a shout out. This video thing is very challenging. I can only speak for myself. However, I have a feeling that this might be very challenging for a lot of people. This is not a platform that most of us are used to working with. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's doing anything in a either live or video format. We can be really, really critical on ourselves when we're faced with a screen and being able to go back and review it and wondering who's watching and what they're thinking and what they're saying. So I want to give a shout out and say thank you to all of you that are putting yourselves out there and offering something to the world. And an even bigger thank you to those that are watching and those that are participating with compassion. The comments have been kind, and I thank you for that. I have heard otherwise in some other platforms. So just thanks for being here. Thanks for being open-minded. And furthermore, thank you for taking care of you today. That's what yoga is all about. It's about bringing the body and the mind together and trying to find some harmony with that, which can be challenging, as we know at times. Second shout out for today, well, third, fourth, millionth, whatever you want to say. I want to thank my husband, Christian Shank, for allowing me to use his space to teach classes in. And another shout out to Abby Powers, who works with me at Pivot. She painted this beautiful stone mural on the wall behind me. So it is a lovely backdrop. I have found peace in this space very quickly, and I hope that you have positioned yourselves in a similar place at home. So I'm going to stop talking so much and move on to our practice. Today we're going to focus on flexibility. So if you think of the word flexibility, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you in your body? And what does that mean to you beyond your body? Perhaps flexibility in your life, in your mind, in your ability to think out of the linear. Linear being those nice orderly things, those nice schedules that we have, the way we want things to go. So flexibility makes me think of being a little bit cushier with those sorts of ideas, and furthermore with our bodies. So as always, please make this practice about you. Please invite in supports that can support you in each posture. I always have my blanket with me, never know when I'm going to need it. Feel free to invite in pillows, cushions, anything else to support yourself in the positions that we're in today, because as we know, we all live in different bodies and with different lives. With that being said, let's begin. Find yourself in a nice, comfortable seated posture. Any position for the legs. So maybe legs straight today. If the legs are tight, cross-legged sit, or maybe seated in a chair or on a couch. Placing the hands wherever we can place them so that the shoulders may relax and where we can find some space along our spine. So closing the eyes or finding a soft gaze down towards the floor in front of you. We'll take some time to center and to ground. So let's drop into breath awareness as a space to draw our attention towards. Breathing in and out through the nose if that's available to you. And just aware of the breath. No particular pattern or purpose really yet in our breath. Just breathe to breathe. Begin to notice how that breath feels into your body. What changes occur as you breathe in and as you breathe out? And perhaps you're noticing the breath begin to slow down a little bit, and that's what we're looking for. A nice, calm, fluid, flowing breath. Just that cycle, that rhythm of breathing in and of breathing out. You may notice thoughts bouncing around in the head as you try to bring awareness into the body, into the breath. So our breath practice today will be a counting breath. So we're likely to move at different paces and have a different count. So I invite you to find your own breath count. So you'll count up as you breathe in, count out as you breathe out, but just silently in your head. And you can count to whatever number you'd like. Now see if you can make the count for your exhale breath a little bit longer than the count for the inhale breath. So maybe just 1 or 2 numbers higher, just to slow the exhale breath down. And see if you can find a rhythm, a pattern with that breath count in and out. So this breath counting is actually a form of meditation. It gives our minds something to kind of repetitively think through rather than getting drawn into your thoughts. So start to draw your awareness back into your space. We can stop that breath counting or keep it going if that feels good to you. We are going to come back into that as we move through our practice. So we're going to begin down on our backs this morning. So you can move anything away that you might have around you and find yourself lying down on your back. So take a moment to kind of wiggle into your spot. We can bring the feet to the floor, arms to our side. Feel free to follow my voice or peek up at the screen to see what I'm doing to follow along here. Come back into your breath, lying here on your back. Back into those spaces where you can feel the movement as you breathe in and as you breathe out. You may find here as you breathe in, you get a little bit more space in your body. Maybe a little bit longer, a little bit more expanded. And there's a settling that happens as you breathe out. Maybe you find your body begins to fall down towards the floor a little bit more as you breathe out. We're going to begin to add some movements with our breath. So as we breathe in now, we're going to raise our arms up towards the ceiling. And as we breathe out, we'll bring the arms back down to our side. Just moving at your own pace with your own breath. Starting to get that rhythm, that flow. Finding expansion, breathing in. And that settling as we breathe out. And we're going to slowly add on to this movement. So now as we breathe in, we're going to bring our arms all the way up overhead. So a little bit bigger movement.
As you breathe out, bring your arms all the way back down to your side. Feel free to move with that counting breath, or just breathe in and breathe out. And here with the arms up overhead, you may feel a little bit deeper of an expansion, a really nice opening through the ribs as we lift up and we lift down. Bring down. Just one more cycle through with this breath, and we'll relax with the arms by our side when we're finished. Just pausing here, relaxing the shoulders, maybe feeling a little bit of heat. Now we're going to begin to add some movement for the torso and some heat for the legs. So we're going to press down through the feet, breathe in to press the hips up towards the ceiling, and breathe out to lower the hips back down. So some nice little dynamic moving bridge poses, making these movements as small or as big as you'd like. Perhaps you're feeling open through the quads and the hip flexors today. It might feel really good to press up nice and high and then slowly settle back down. Or maybe it's just a small little micro movement, just a little lift of the hips and a lower of the hips. Hopefully feeling some maybe warmth or shaking through the quads, which is perfectly okay. That's just our body waking up, saying hello, saying thank you for using me and utilizing me. So now we're going to try to put those two together. As we breathe in, we can lift the hips, lift the arms, bring them back up behind us. And as we breathe out, slowly lower those hips and bring your arms back down to your side. Back and forth with your breath as your guide, lifting to open and exhaling to settle down. Breathing in and breathing out. So it's almost like a little dance. Dance with your body. Next time we lift the hips and raise the arms, let's pause. So hips raise up, arms come overhead. Hold it here. Now we're maybe going to feel that shake a little bit more. From here, feel your belly rise as you breathe in and settle as you breathe out. Engage the backs of the legs, the back of the glutes, lift the hips, generate some heat. Another full breath in. And a breath out to slowly lower the hips and lower the arms. Take a pause here. And then we can draw both knees into our chest. Find some circles for the legs. So our hands can be on the knees here. We're going to circle the legs so that we can feel a little rotation on the lower back. Maybe finding a pattern with your breath, with your movement, or maybe just moving, maybe just breathing. Maybe today's a day you don't need any rules in your life. You can just move, flow. Let's go in the opposite direction. Just roll out that lower back. Nice little massage. And then pause here. We can bring the hands to the shins, lifting the forehead, lift the shoulders, curl up into a nice tight little ball. And then release the head back down to the floor. So we're going to work our way into a stand. I'm going to offer kind of a fun way to get there. Feel free to play if you'd like to, or feel free to roll to your side and come to your feet. But we're going to roll on our back a little bit. So bringing the hands to the shins or the thighs, get a little momentum here and come up into a ball and then back onto your back. This kind of reminds me of carpet time when I was a child on the floor, just rolling around, not really caring what it looked like, doing what felt good for my body then, before we learned to be scared. Now for even more fun from this roll, we can try to come right into a stand, which can be quite challenging. So I'll kind of show you what it looks like for me. Feel free to give it a go, and please keep some comedy in your mind here. We can laugh at ourselves. But if we're coming to our stand, ta-da! Make it look so easy, right? So wherever you are in your rolling or standing, we'll all meet in a stand. So bring yourself into a mountain pose. Mountain pose is our nice tall stand. Our feet can be any width that you like, nice and wide. If you want to ground and center your body a little bit lower, or we can bring those feet in hip width or even big toes to touch. All about options. Take a few breaths to settle into your mountain. So nice tall stand, any placement for the arms that helps the shoulders settle and relax away from the ears. Our gaze is straight ahead, so we find alignment for our spine, or we can close those eyes here to really get into our body. Take that visual factor, that visual piece out, and really draw into your other senses, your sense of touch, your sense of gravity. The two missing senses we don't talk about very much are proprioception, which is our sense of our body in space, and vestibular, which is that sense of movement. So in your mountain, if your eyes are closed, try to come into those other senses. Feel where your body is in space. Feel any slight little micro movements that you make to stay upright. And then we can open the eyes if and when you're ready and settle on a focal point for the gaze. So we're going to do some standing spinal balancing movements and come into some standing postures to warm our bodies up a little bit. And then we're going to work our way back onto the floor for our flexibility and stretching pieces of our practice, just to let you know a little bit of what to expect. So from our mountain pose, we're going to begin with movements with our breath. A nice big inhale breath to bring our arms up. Lift that gaze if we can. And an exhale breath to bring our arms down to our side. Similar movements we did on the floor, and maybe that counting breath is still working for you to keep you focused, to keep you present, to slow the monkey mind, to slow the thoughts. So feel free to invite that in. One more time to breathe in, arms reach up. And an exhale breath to bring the arms down to our side. Relax those shoulders and raise one arm up towards the ceiling. We're going to relax the shoulder away from the ear and find a lean for our body. We're going to reach out through those fingertips, keeping shoulders and hips facing forward. Any gaze for the eyes, that feels good for the neck. Perhaps feeling the breath into the side body here. Finding a lateral stretch for our spine. And then settle back into your mountain. Take a pause. And invite that same stretch in the other side. Arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Nice big inhale. And an exhale breath to lean into it. Taking the opportunity to close the eyes whenever you'd like to challenge those other senses, that sense of our body in space and our sense of movement. Good. Another breath in to come up and a breath out, arms to our side, back in our mountain. So those are two of our spinal balancing movements. We went side to side. Now we're going to come forward and backward. We're going to come into a standing cat-cow movement. So we're going to bring the hands together at heart center, interlace our fingers. Gives us a little grip, something to hold on to. Extend through your palms and drop your chin down towards your chest. We're going to draw the belly in, maybe even bend the knees and tilt the pelvis a bit here to really round our back and to spread through the shoulder blades, through the backs of the ribs. engaging core muscles, and breathing. Good. Next breath in, let's raise the arms up overhead and press the palms up towards the ceiling. We're going to lift ourselves a little bit here. I'll turn to the side to show you our next movement. So our body's in our mountain pose alignment. We're going to bend the knees a bit here, find some strength through the legs, and then just draw the arms back a bit. So a little bit of a back bend. We got a little rounding through the lower back, opening through the belly, through the ribs. Maybe our gaze is up. Then we breathe. Good. Come back into a neutral spine and release those arms back down to your side. Find your nice neutral mountain pose again. So we've done our side to side bend, our forward movement, our backward movement. There's 2 more left. There are twisting motions. I love a good open arm twist. So we're going to breathe in, bring your arms up, and breathe out. Bring one arm in front of you and one arm behind you, and try to turn to look towards that back hand. So it's almost like a spiral, a nice little twist going all the way up the spine. Pause here to breathe. These twists are movements we don't naturally do throughout our day as much as our other movements. So these are really, really great for balancing out and resetting those vertebrae. Breath in, come back to center. Let's reach the arms up. And a breath out to open to the other side. Same thing here. Try to relax the shoulders. Try to relax the face, the gaze. Just settle into breath. Breathing in to expand and breathing out to settle. Beautiful. Let's breathe in, come back to center, palms together. Exhale down our center line here. Hands come to heart center, and we'll relax the shoulders. So those spinal balancing movements can be done from a chair. They can be done standing, seated, anywhere. Those really are the basis for a lot of the postures we come into for yoga. So if you're working on a mat, we can come to the top of our mat and settle into our mountain again, just as our base for alignment. We're going to take our right leg here and step it back on our mat so that our toes are pointed out at an angle. Our foot's at about a 45-degree angle from the back of your mat, if you're mathing today. Hands can come to the hips. We're going to turn the hips to face towards the front of the mat, taking a wider stance if that feels kind of yucky on the back leg. Shoulders and hips forward. We're going to bend our front knee, come into our warrior one. So our knee is right over our front ankle, shoulders are over our hips, and we can raise our arms, relax our shoulders away from our ears. Get a little power in those legs here. Maybe take it a little deeper, get that little shake. Feel where our muscles are working to hold us here. Also a really lovely opening for the back hip flexor in our warrior one. We're going to ground into our left foot, step forward, back into our mountain, arms reach up, and relax the arms back down to our side. Same posture on the other side, so grounding into the right foot, left foot steps back, find your warrior one feet. Find a good distance between the front foot and the back foot, and then we'll guide those hips towards the front of the mat. Shoulders over our hips. We can raise those arms up, relax the shoulders away from the ears, and find your warrior one. Find that breath. Lovely. Think about grounding into that front foot. We're going to step forward, arms reach up, and and relax the arms back to our side. So warrior ones. Now we're going to open into warrior twos. Let's take that right foot back and open the foot up a bit more. I like to align my foot with the back of my mat so that my foot is out at a 90-degree angle. The hips are turned to the side here, so are the shoulders. So we're going to bend into the front knee. Knee settles over ankle, shoulders over hips. Bring those arms out to a T and relax the shoulders away from the ears. So we're gazing out over the front fingertips. Find some power here. Maybe dig a little bit deeper into it. Feel that lovely little shake in the legs. We're going to turn the front palm up, open the front body by raising the arm towards the ceiling. Peaceful warrior. Relax that right arm down the right leg. Turn the gaze up. Stay low in the legs. And let's begin to straighten through the left leg. Coming into your triangle legs. This is our stargazer. If there aren't stars above us, we can pretend. We're going to cartwheel our arms. So we're going to bring our left arm down to the left leg and bring the right arm up towards the ceiling. Come into your triangle pose. So as though you have a wall against your back, the shoulders are stacked and we're open through the arms. Gaze can be up or down for balance. Lovely. Let's come back up to a stand here. Our arms parallel to the floor. For a balance challenge, we'll keep the arms wide. Bend into that front knee a little bit so that it's soft. We're going to push off the back foot and come up to the top for our mountain again. Take a pause here to reset. And then step that left leg back to find our warrior two on this side. The back foot is open, the front toes still face forward. Our hips and shoulders are to our side. We're going to bend into the front knee and raise the arms parallel to the floor. Relax the shoulders. Gaze out over those front fingertips. Our gaze, our drishti, aligns our neck where we would like it. So where our eyes are looking, our neck responds. One of the things I love about gaze is it gives us a little perspective on focus. So as you're looking out over your front fingertips right now, notice that they're steady, they're clear in your vision. And then notice everything else around them. It's a little bit fuzzy, maybe see double. Then try to shift your focus with your eyes to something further away. Notice what happens to your fingers. Maybe we've got 8 of them now. They get a little fuzzy, a little double. All with the power of our gaze, where we want to place our focus. Let's turn that front palm up, raise it up towards the ceiling, relax that back arm, open the front side body, peaceful warrior. Dig a little deeper into those legs if that feels good. Find that breath. Where can you open? Beautiful. Let's press through that front foot, straighten out that front leg, stargazer. And then slowly cartwheel those arms. Bring the right arm down. Left arm comes up into triangle. So we've got that wall at our back. Shoulders are stacked. If you find you're leaning forward a bit, looking at the floor, try lifting up off of that front leg a bit more. The alignment is more important than reaching down to the toes or even to the calf here. Well, let's come back up to a stand. Turn to look forward again. For our balance challenge, we're going to bend into that front knee. Try and step off that back foot to come back into our mountain at the top of our mat.
Good. So before we work our way down to the floor, we're going to come into our tree balance today. With mountain pose being our base, let's take one leg and turn the foot to the side. So we'll start with the toes on the floor, the ankle resting on the inside of that standing leg. So this may be your tree pose today. We may need support with those toes down. If we want to challenge our balance a little bit more, maybe try bringing the foot to the calf. So that knee is open, hip is open. Ooh, I'm wobbly today. Try to steady the gaze, steady the breath. If it's available today, maybe try bringing that foot up to the inner thigh. Guide the legs and the foot together. And maybe raising the arms up and out to our side. Pause here, find some stability, or maybe enjoy that great little sway that you might have going on in your tree pose today. Whenever you're ready, we can release, bringing the feet back to the floor. And when you're ready, opening to the opposite side, we can turn and anchor that foot. We can come to our calf, or we can bring the foot up above the knee, above or below that knee. We don't want to push the knee to the side because it doesn't like to go that way. Find some steadiness wherever you are. Again, maybe enjoy the little breeze that might be blowing on your tree today. Woo. And then we can play with those arms. If you want to challenge balance here, try closing your eyes in your tree. That does something. That changes things, closing those eyes. Whenever you're ready, feel free to bring the feet back to the floor. For good measure, let's take a breath in, arms raise, up, lift through the body. Breathe out to come forward into a forward fold. We haven't come into nice deep forward folds yet this practice, so take some time to settle in here. Maybe knees are bent, opening the backs of the legs, the arms can hang heavy, let that head hang heavy. See if you can find those little micro movements with our breath again. And slow breaths in and slow breaths out. We're going to work our way down onto the mat into a tabletop. We can bend through the knees to plant the hands and bring the knees to the floor if that works for you, or find your way here however you get here. Coming into your table, wrists are under our shoulders, knees are under our hips. We're going to draw that belly in and extend out through the top of the head. So from here, we're going to take our right leg and try to bring it out in front of you so that the knee is over towards the side and the foot is over towards the other side. We're going to begin to scooch that back leg back to settle into our pigeon. So now I'm going to run through some options for you for your pigeon. An option that I like to use is to bring a blanket or a block underneath my front leg for support. Another option would be to bring that back leg over to your side so it's not so intense with that leg behind. The key point for our alignment in pigeon is that our hips are facing forward. So if you find that in order to find comfort in the position, the hips aren't facing forward anymore, we'll want to adapt and change that a little bit. The goal is to open through the right hip here. So settle into your pigeon however it works for you today. Find that space where you can comfortably settle and get the benefit of the stretch without going too far. We don't want any pain here, or ever in the yoga practice. Pain is not our friend. It is an indicator that something is not okay. So I guess in that way it's our friend. From our pigeon, we're going to try to walk our hands forward and maybe release down to our forearms. Just a little different placement for the torso. You may feel that differently through the hip. If it's available to you and you want to cross the arms, we can bring the head right down to the tops of the hands. We're going to sit with this for a few breaths. Feeling length with your body as you breathe in. Feeling that settling as you breathe out. See where you can soften into this a little bit more. Beautiful. Let's work our way back up to our hands. Bringing the shoulders up off the floor a bit. So an option here to find a little back bend with this. You may want to come to your fingertips and press your torso back. We can lift the gaze here as well. See how that changes things in our body. Where are you feeling the stretch now? Now I feel it through the front of my left leg. Keep trying to draw the shoulders away from the ears. Get some space with that inhale breath. And then return back into a neutral spine. We're going to take the hands back to the floor. Find our way back into our tabletop. So maybe we can scooch that back leg in and bring that front leg back. Reset in tabletop before we move on to our other side. And take note if you have any disparities or other words for that, thesaurus, things you need to consider when moving into your other leg. So maybe one side might need more support than another. We'll take that left leg this time, bring it out in front and over to the side. Work your way into your pigeon on this side, which can be scooching that other leg back. Or if the variation of the leg out to the side worked better for you, it can be here. Take a moment to settle in. Invite in supports, if and where you need them here. I always say no two sides of the body are created equally, so it's best to listen rather than try and convince ourselves that we are completely balanced. Check in just to make sure that you're in the right position that feels good for you. And then we can begin to release, maybe down to the forearms, maybe further down to the floor. Another option, I don't have one with me today, but if you have a block near you, I like to place a block out in front of me and rest my forehead on it. Sometimes these deep stretches, especially the ones for the hips, give us, permission to hold tension other places in our body. So perhaps in the shoulders or in the face or the jaw. Just notice that, be aware of that, and try to settle into it. Give your body some time to work into this posture just by pausing here, just by breathing here. Flexibility. Just a couple more breaths to sit with this. And when you're ready, just slowly begin to work back up to the hands. And then
maybe invite that back bend in here. So we can come to the fingertips, press down and lift through the shoulders and the chest. Maybe lift that gaze. Nice, opening through those hip flexors. We can release back to the hands. Let's find our way back into our tabletop position. So remove any props you have underneath your body. Maybe tuck that back toe and bring the knees back underneath the hips. Back into reset, maybe some sways for those hips here, maybe a few cat-cow movements to move through the spine. Anything that feels good to just kind of really get back into that table and that space of pause. So our next long stretch posture, we're going to take our left leg extended out behind us. We want to press through our heel, get some length through the hip joint. We're going to take that left leg and cross it behind the right, either bringing the knee to the floor or maybe the knee will rest up on the calf there. And we're going to sit back into this stretch. So this is a variation on our cow legs. And this may be challenging for you depending on how tight the hips are today. So always invite in supports where you need and take this as far as you'd like. So perhaps you may be staying right up here, lifted off the floor. You feel that through the outsides of the hips, the IT bands, that's where it's at, and that's where you're going to pause. If you'd like to take this a little deeper, maybe try sitting back onto the legs and releasing the head down towards the floor. Maybe even be able to give that right knee a kiss. And so if this feels good, you may want to stay right here. Another option is to come up into a seat here. So releasing the bottom down to the floor and settling into a nice tall sit. I'll turn and face the camera here if you'd like to see what that looks like. So you can bring the hands to the feet, or maybe to the floor. Find whatever expression of this posture works for you today, and then try to sit with it. Staying still can be so much more challenging than moving, so compassion with the thoughts. If the counting breath works for you, come into your counting breath and resolve to be still. Don't even have to be okay with it. Give yourself another couple breaths here. As if you didn't think you could stay any longer. Invite it in, embrace it. And then we will slowly work our way out of this posture. So if we're into a seated posture, we're going to come back forward and shift back onto the knees. Eventually bringing the knees back underneath the hips and coming back into our tabletop position. Great. We're going to invite that in on the other side. So take that right leg this time, press it back behind, lengthen through the hip, press through the heel. Then we're going to bend that knee and bring the leg behind the left. Crossing the legs behind, working our way back to feel that stretch on the outsides of the hips. We'll run through our options here again. Feel free to invite some support and pause right here. Or if you want to shift back and lower down, you can drop the bottom, release the head.
This feels good on this side, stay here, or maybe walk those hands back and come into your seat with your cow legs. Yamukhasana. Placing the hands wherever you'd like if you're in your seat. Nice long spine. Settle into breath. These long stretches are a great metaphor for life experience. Find. Perhaps when we first find our way into a position or a state, we're dragging our nails, we're wanting to push it away. But the more time we spend in it, the more time we learn to soften to it, to bring compassion to ourselves in the situation, and to learn to just be. To just be okay. Allow yourself a few more breaths here. And then slowly begin to work your way out of whatever shape that you're in right now. We'll meet back in a tabletop. So if we're seated, we can bring the hands back out in front, coming back to the knees, uncrossing the legs, and finding a tabletop position. From our tabletop, we're going to take the knees a bit wider, sit back towards the heels, settle into your child's pose. We can releasing the head to the floor, maybe to the forearms. Taking a few settling breaths here. And then we can lift the head, bring the hands to the floor, and swing those legs out in front and to the top of the mat if you're using a mat. Working our way down to the floor. The journey is the gift, so we can extend the arms here and make it count. Slowly breathe out to lower down. Invite some strength through the belly. Extending down to the floor. Let's reach those arms back behind us. Extend through the legs. Find a nice long, full body stretch. And then release the arms down to our side. We're going to bend through the knees, bringing the feet to the floor. Similar to how we began on the floor. This time we're going to bring the feet a little wider. So about mat width, shoulder width, whatever you're using to gauge your distance. Take the arms out wide into a T. We're going to ground ourselves down to the floor. And we're just going to sway the legs side to side. So we got into the hips pretty good today with those long stretches. So it's just our way of stirring that up. Let the legs fall to one side and just find a pause there. Let that top leg get heavy. Bring the legs back to center. And over to the other side, find your pause there.
And bringing the knees back to center. Take any final movements or postures that you'd like as we work our way into Shavasana. When you are ready, we will all meet with the legs extended, arms to our side or to our belly. Taking any comfort measures here that you would like for Shavasana. Maybe a blanket under the head, or placing your socks on, or blanket over your body, your choice. Take a few full breaths and resolve to settle here. Let the feet fall open, let the hips release and relax. Allow the shoulders to ground down into the floor. Palms can face up. Perhaps some gentle sways for the head, side to side, to really just allow ourselves to settle in. It's like you're creating a nice little bed in the sand. Come back into breath. Into that breath count that works for you, if that works for you. And just gently begin to draw a deeper breath back into your body. Settling in that rhythm of the breath again, that nice expansion as you breathe in, and a settling as you breathe out. Begin to find some movement here, maybe through fingers, through toes, through ankles, through wrists. Maybe taking a full body stretch again, releasing those arms back behind, extending through the legs. And then find yourself to lie on one side of your body. Arms can come under your head as a pillow for support. You can bend the knees. Take a little pause here in a fetal pose. And see if in this position you can find just one thing that you are looking forward to for the rest of your day. Maybe 100 things. I hope for 100 things. And when you're ready, come back up to a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. We'll close out our practice here together by bringing our hands to heart center, dropping the chin. We can close the eyes or find a gaze down towards the floor. Coming back to that proprioceptive sense, that sense of our body in space. Come back to that place where you feel grounded in your seat, and then a little light through your head, shoulders. Bring your awareness into the room that you're in, the space that you're in, and slowly start to bring the focus out a bit more. Bring your awareness into the building that you're in, or the street that you're on, or the town that you live in. Going wider and wider into the county, state, country, world,
universe, galaxy. Just slowly open that scope and find yourself there at the center of it, that little speck, that little person, and all those other little people that all weave together to keep our energy flowing. So although we may be practicing this practice alone, know that there are others in the same position with you at this same exact time, and we are all connected. Honoring the light and the wisdom in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I look forward to next Wednesday. If you have any requests, feel free to message them to me in the comments. I would love to honor requests. Have a wonderful day.